Here we are then, a brand new chapter begins as season 19 gets underway and it all starts the most iconic circuits in all of motorsport history. The Spa-Francorchamps, host of the Belgian Grand Prix. This track needs no introduction, sweeping elevation changes, relentless high-speed corners and that legendary run through Eau Rouge and Radion that demands absolute commitment lap after lap. But while the season is new, the storylines already run deep. Last year it was Jensen who sealed the championship in an unforgettable season and unforgettable fashion at the Silverstone Grand Prix, capping off a season defined by good pace, raw speed and absolute dominance from the Alpine driver or the former Alpine driver. But tonight the reigning champion is absent. Jensen will not return for season 19, leaving behind a vacant throne and a championship wide open for the first time since season 18 when Kadeem wasn't either. But stepping into the void is Fireblaze back on the grid and carrying the weight on unfinished business. And after a season of relentless consistency, a title fight that went down to the wire, this is his opportunity to turn pain into glory and purpose. Spa is the perfect place to begin a circuit that is absolutely quick indeed, high-speed corners around this legendary Spa-Francorchamps track. We've got multiple people out there in their qualifying laps as I put my glasses on. And we'll see what this season has in store for us tonight. And we'll see who our contenders are as well. And expecting Fireblaze to be very quick this season. Could this be the season where Fireblaze finally takes the championship? I know it's early doors. I know it's the first race of the season. But seasons 17 and 18 proved to be Fireblaze one of the people that could contend with the championship all season long. But is there anybody new that could be thrown into the mix? What about the former champion of Hurricane? Two-time champion here in SFR, but recently hasn't had the best luck either, and he has been absent in the past few races as well. So Hurricane will be looking straight back if he can, but he's in the championship winning car, which is the Alpine. Alpine have won twice last season, the season before, the championship, so it looks like it's the perfect place to be. Could it be 3 in a row? But we've got somebody then making their way towards the Eau Rouge of Radion, climbed the hill now towards the end of Radion. Now DRS wide open on the long back Camel Straight. DRS wide open, speeds about 345 kilometers an hour before we hit the braking point, going through, I think it is called, I haven't done my research properly, but I forgot what it's called. I think it's called, there's La Source and La Combe. Yeah, that's called La Combe. So it's basically way down now towards the slowest part of the track, downhill section where it can be very difficult, especially the brakes very easy to run out wide. Now coming through Jackie X corner and now downhill all the way towards Eau Rouge, where we need absolute commitment through here in Pouon. 7th gear corner, flat to the floor as we head down towards Stavelo in 4th and 5th gear. And Redoubts is a Division 3 driver, says John Move, so thank you for clearing that up. But let's see what the Div 3 driver could do. He's in amongst the big boys who have got some relentless pace, so it might be a bit of a difficult task for Redoubts here in Division 1. But of course, being a reserve driver, you're just here to have fun, and there's no high expectations, so just have fun and see what you could do amongst the others. But here he is towards the bus stop chicane, a heavy stop, a hard braking, slow the car down in the 2nd gear corner. As we get back on the throttle once again, DRS enabled for Redoubts is a 44.895, and let's see if that can be beaten as we've got some more people then ready to cross the line. Let's see who's out there. I think majority of people now on a flying lap, so let's see who is the closest towards line. I remember Vlotchev Jr. who won in Division 2, I think, a couple of seasons ago in Belgium. And here comes Gags, and here comes Vlotchev Jr. It's a 41.928 for the Mercedes driver, ahead of both Kick Sappers, which is a good effort there from the Mercedes, who's looking to try and bounce back after a difficult season. Scored a few podiums last season too. Now his teammate is Dylan Vince. Dylan Vince, the Belgium driver at his home Grand Prix, goes up into 2nd place, and I believe those two are close friends in real life. They're both from Belgium, is Aob Jr. and also Dylan Vince as well. Burmeister goes up into P3 with a 42.7, and All Blacks goes up into P4. Moe Nemo goes 1st place. The former Ferrari driver and teammates with Vlotchev Jr. is now up into 1st place, 2/10 clear of Vlotchev Jr. Chris goes up into P4, head of Fireblaze as well. So mighty effort there from Moe Nemo as Fireblaze goes off the track in turn 1. So think he's letting people go because he just did complete his flying lap. Let's see what Hurricane could do. Let's see where his form is this season. And let's see where he could put the Alpine car as he makes his way out of the final corner. He goes towards second place, a 41.21. And that is a mighty effort there from Hurricane as he'll be looking to try and bounce back and try and see what he could do this season. 7.5, unfortunately, has validated as he makes his way down towards Revanche, I think it is. So I suspect he must have validated through, I think it's Lacombe. Kevin, the Swedish driver, goes up into P11, so just outside the top 10 there, but I don't think he's happy with that last time. He is a quick driver we've seen in previous seasons, but here in Spa, he's quite a long way off the pace there, so we're looking to try to improve if he can. So it's Moe Nemo, who's in first place and runner-up in the championship last season in third place. Let's see what he could do, because I dare say, I think, no, he was fourth place in the championship. I thought it was him who was third, but it looks like Velocio Jr. managed to try and just deny him in the last couple of races. But we both know that Moe Nemo and also Dylan Vince was quick again. Then Moe Nemo and also I think it was Velocio Jr. who was mighty quick, but both Ferrari drivers last season made a lot of mistakes and they cost themselves big chances of winning. So hopefully they can clear those mistakes again and reset and go again for the first race of the season. Help Indigo, great to hear your voice on the stream again. We've missed you. Thank you very much, mate. I missed you too. I missed everybody. I know the attendance isn't perfect tonight, and neither is me because I am ill. So that's why I could be struggling here tonight on stream. I've been ill for the past 2 weeks, so not a great start to the season, but hopefully it won't affect me that much. As Adams then makes his way back in towards the pit lane, a former Division 2 driver who was a runner-up in the championship, now placed into Division 1. And he was 6th place in the championship last season with 211 points. There's some good races, but unfortunately he never made it to the podium. His best result was at the Spanish Grand Prix. But a majority of people are back in the pit lane then. And we'll see what their second runs has to offer as Moe Nemo currently occupies first place with a 41.713. Only 4 drivers inside the 41s, and it's currently Moe Nemo, Hurricane, Velocio Jr. and Dylan Vince as well. So great effort from them to get themselves in the 41s. But not too far behind is Chris and Fireblaze. Chris, a newcomer, I think, and Fireblaze in P6 as well. Last season's runner-up and the season previous runner-up as well is currently in P6. Div 2 champion of Burmeister is P7. He's looking to make his way back out onto the circuit, so let's see what he does. But Spa has been around since 1950 and has produced some excellent races in the past as well. Especially that carnage back in 1998 when that crash happened and caused a red flag. Of course, the problem with Belgium is the weather as well, because sometimes it can be absolutely torrential. Back, of course, in 2021, in 2021, it was only ran by 2 or 3 laps, and that was it. Then, obviously, points were awarded on that day too. And yeah, it was just an absolute shocking event as well. I can't believe they gave out points as well, especially when it was only ran for like 3 or 4 laps behind the safety car as well. And it had to be cancelled on that day, but we got a majority of people out on the circuit once again, and we'll see what their second run has to offer. Burmeister, as I said before, he was a Division 2 driver, and we'll see what he could do this season. Did struggle a lot last season too in Division 1. I don't think he'd been to a podium either, so we're looking to try and get his first podium since the season before, but of course, runner-up, champion in Division 2. He was P13 last season, had a horrible season, had Burmeister. Lots of DNFs in his progress and wake, but hopefully he can try and sort it out as he makes his way now towards the final corner. I know last season wasn't really spectacular, we had a lot of issues, but hopefully we can try and change things around and flip it on his head. As we head down in towards La Source, we go to 1 braking zone. Bit of a wobble on going there for Burmeister as he now powers his way up towards the hill of Eau Rouge and Radion. It should be flat out through here, no problem whatsoever. Of course, we've seen massive crashes here in the past with the likes of Lando Norris and Kevin Magnussen in F1, I think it was 2016, 10 years ago, wasn't it? And Lando Norris, when he crashed there at the top of the hill, in 2021. It was wet conditions on that day, but Burmeister 2 tenths up as he ebbs and flows in towards the Lecombe. He goes a bit wide on the entry there, but nothing too major. Cost himself a little bit of time going down in towards Lafarge now, just taking the wider line through there. Get back on the power, bring it over to the right side, trying to flick the car in towards No Name on the far once again. It seems nice and tidy there for Burmeister, but just missing the apex ever so slightly, and my voice is starting to go again, so yeah, apologies about that one. I haven't fully recovered since about 2 weeks ago. I didn't even do comms yesterday or the day before. Not really in the right, yeah, not really 100% recovered just yet, but Burmeister coming towards the middle sector now, and he's 2 tenths up. Let's see where this puts him, but there's a massive gap between himself and Fireblaze. The gap is about 6 tenths of a second, so definitely needs to find a lot more time in the last set to try and gain some ground and try and gain a few positions as well. Here he is now through launching when we go, breaking the 100 meter board down to the gears. A heavy braker zone, it's very easy to overdo it here as well, especially with the tyres. They're very hot at this stage. DRS wide open, back to the top once we go, and he stays in P7 for the time being. Behind us, Sammy goes P2. That's a mighty excellent job there from the Haas driver, and we've seen a lot as well. Last season, he had a lot of problems in terms of internet connection issues, as Moenimo extends the bar once again with a 41.568, 2 tenths clear of Samid, and once again raised the bar, but no, Velocio Jr. now goes quickest with a 41.377, so great lap time there from the Mercedes driver, who is looking to bounce back. And Harry Kane goes up into P2, Dylan Vince is P3, and Dylan Vince has found a lot of time. This is extraordinary what we're seeing here from all these drivers, as Fireblaze goes into P4 with a 41.506 then, so we start to see some really competitive lap times here as well. Super close as it always is in Division 1, and hopefully makes up for a spectacular race. But I'm very impressed with Dylan Vince because, well, last season he was a Division 2 driver and he struggled a lot in Division 2 and also Division 1 as well, but he's really stepped up the pace here in Division 1, and let's see if he becomes a contender or a threat amongst the drivers here as well. Let's see who else is out there on the flying line. We've got Kevin, who raced a couple of races last season, and he was a regular top 10 finisher, was the racing board driver, but he's currently 2 tenths up in this middle sector. But it doesn't look promising there for Kevin because he has set a 43.3, and the rest of the guys are ideally wanting to try and get a 41, both Ferraris P8 and P9, with one of them with a 42.266 and Burmeister P9 with a 42.540. But here comes Kevin now, approaching the final 2 corners where all the progress can be undone, but seems to keep it nice and tidy. A bit of a wobble on there for Kevin as he makes his way now towards the line. It's a 43.0, so he is quite close to making it inside the 42s, is Kevin, but that mistake at the final corner cost him dearly and cost himself the chance of getting himself inside the 42s. Chris 1999 is P7 with a 41.8, so we've got 7 drivers now inside the 41s, but Velocio Jr. as his home Grand Prix is doing a mighty job. He just hit the wall there, so I'm not quite sure what happened there for Velocio Jr. Just misjudged the pit lane entry like Kimi Räikkönen did, I think, all those years ago when he misjudged the pit lane entry. But all these drivers returning back to the pit lane, ready for the final runs here and qualify to see who could take pole position around here in Spa. I will be taking regular breaks now and then when nothing is happening because I'm trying to recover my voice. So yeah, unfortunately I'm still ill. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to winter I'm always struggling, so it's a shame, but it is what it is. Dan says it's getting dark. Could rain be on its way? Potentially, maybe for the race, but qualifying I don't think it'll hit the circuit, so I think we're safe for qualifying, but I think the rain will hold off for now. You could potentially see it in the race though, but we know rain around here can be very brutal indeed, can be very difficult as well. Guys, KK there just weaving left and right. I'm not quite sure if he's going for another flying lap or just trying to get himself back in the pit lane as quick as he can. There is 3 minutes left to go on the clock, so I do think he should be able to get in the pit lane and get out again on a new set of the soft compound tyres. But Mayori in P10 is currently on an outlap, so let's watch him in the Williams and see what he could do around here in Belgium. He is currently set at 42.5, so a marginal distance away from the guys at the top of the field, but not who I was expecting at the top of the field. Bearing in mind, though, I do think that Velocio Jr. did win in Season 16 in Division 2. Whilst I think it was his teammate Yusuf Shabayaku won, and Velocio Jr. finished in P2, because remember, those two didn't have a great chemistry or relationship when they were teammates in the race to Bull, but they were highly drivers, they were very quick, but they screwed each other mostly up every single race as well due to the chemistry and not working in harmony either. We got more people then on their flying laps, and Savid's internet connection issues strikes once again. He must be so frustrated running that internet, and he needs to improve it. Whether he's running a just a Wi-Fi Ethernet cable or a Wi-Fi booster, something is wrong with the internet of Samid, unfortunately. So the internet, like last season, kept cutting out every single race almost as well. It's a shame because he has got great pace, but it's defeated by the fact that his internet just keeps cutting out, lets him down, and it's so annoying as well. I can feel his frustration every single race because he's in good positions, but unfortunately just gets ruined by the incidents he's having so far. But majority of people are out on their flying laps. Samid will not make it out, so P6 will be a best for him, depending who can improve behind him. And Chris is his nearest competitor in P7 in the Aston Martin. But Maori in P10 in the Williams then is round the final corner to start his final flying lap here in qualifying. 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go on the clock. This is it. No mistakes can be afforded to make now as he heads down in towards turn 1. A massive traffic jam going on there in the middle sector, but they should be hopefully sort themselves out and hopefully not tripping over each other's tails either, because it's easy to get a 5-place grid penalty. But now we're climbing towards the hill, towards the top of Eau Rouge and Reading, with the DRS wide open, taking a very weird line going down the Camel Straight there. Usually when it's on the left-hand side, but not really gained anything from that. And he's currently gained about 300 of a second. Samid has joined by the session, but unfortunately, he will not take part longer in this qualifying. So his qualifying has ended prematurely, and he'll start P6 or worse. We've got more people still starting their flying laps as we continue riding aboard with the Williams driver, who just touched the grass on the inside there, so turned in rather sharply and unfortunately cost himself a little bit of time in there as well, as he now makes his way through P1. We go flat out through this corner with the speed of the downforce of the cars. We head down towards the final chicane. We go, can be a bit. Did seem to have a moment out of one of the corners there, unfortunately, which cost him a little bit of time as we head down towards turn 13, I think it is. Let's see how his middle sector is. Did I just... I think I lagged out. I think I just lagged out the session there. It turns out I did lag out, unfortunately, and I missed qualifying the end of it. So it is Velocio Jr. on pole position with a mighty ballistic lap time of 41.89, and Mo and Nemo's P2 with a 41.279. 297, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, I meant 297. But yeah, it's a shame that I lagged out, because it would have been great to see the final runs in qualifying and I missed out. I thought the lobby went, but it turns out I went instead with Samid, whose internet unfortunately messed up again. But it is the Baltimore pole ahead of Moanimo in P2. Fireblaze P3 ahead of Hurricane. Great effort from Hurricane as well. Dylan Vince as well up into P5. That's a mighty result there from the Belgian driver as home Grand Prix. Chris in P62. Scotsman's in P7 and P8 ahead of Burmeister. Mario in P10 ahead of Kevin. Gags in 12th ahead of Bruce, and Three Doubts in 14th place. How is everyone doing? Hopefully you all had a nice Christmas and a happy new year as well. I know it's the 14th of January. Yeah, sure, I don't mind. We should have Energy Dan in the party, and I do think he is then. You know, bad. It's been quite a while since me and you have commentated, but yeah, nice to have you back. Christmas was fine. Had a nice dinner. Can't exactly remember what happened, but yeah, it was a while ago, and yeah, everything's been fine in general. What about you? We can't hear you, Dan. We can't hear you. Let me check the stream. Still can't hear you, mate. Have you got your voice settings? Allow voice. The formation lap is about to begin, and let's see what the tires have been chosen. I think every single person on the medium compound tires, only one person on the hards. Daniel, speak now. I can hear you, but I'm not quite sure if the stream can hear you. No, the stream can't hear you. No. Have you got your voice allowed to be shared for the stream? Right, I need to get this sorted before the race starts. Um, Is it all sorted now, Dan? All the drivers are making their way towards the grid slots, and let's see what happens in this 22 race around here in Belgium. A long race ahead of us. We'll see what it has in store for us. Last season's race winner was Jensen Fablaze, finished in P2, and Mo and Nemo in P3. First and second place are the former Ferrari drivers, now in the Mercedes and in the McLaren, no longer working together, all on their own. They were good working together last season, but this season in complete different teams, and we'll see what they do here around in Belgium. But we're for the lights now to get ready for the race. 5 lights. And there's 2 jump starts, unfortunately, and we get underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. Here comes the Ferrari steaming to take first place as we go down in towards turn 1. Adams takes the lead, but he does have a drive-through penalty as Velocio Jr. maintains the lead of the Grand Prix. Mo and Nemo 3 abreast there between himself and the Red Bull of Fireblaze. Adams is up into P2 now, but now under attack from the McLaren behind as he's side by side ahead, and now tucked in the slipstream behind Velocio Jr. as we now head on towards the Kettle Straight. We go. No DS stable, of course. It's all down to slipstream, but here comes Mo and Nemo side by side with the Mercedes as we head down in towards the car. We go. There's a bit of damage there. There's the Ferrari who's lost the spring. That's Adams as Fireblaze is going side by side. He gets ahead on the top of Rivarage of, I think it is Lacombe, sorry. But here comes the RP driver Harry Kane now taking advantage of the Ferrari, who's had a drive-through penalty and also broken his wing. But what a shame there for Adams. He jumped the start, same with Chris there. But Mo and Nemo now leads this race ahead of Velocio Jr. and Fireblaze is in P3. Are you there, Dan? Have you sorted the problem out? So I was on mute there the whole time. I thought I was talking, but apologies about that. Yeah, we still can't hear the stream, by the way. Right, mate, no worries. So it's lap 3. Apologies for not talking. I was talking, but I was on mute the whole time. I was wondering why Dan was talking. But yeah, what was I saying before? I was saying that Mario's on the hardcore power tires in P8 on the in the Williams, and the advantage will help him so far in this race because the rest of the guys on the medium power tires. Burmeister's behind Summit, hence overtaking once again. Summit is a ghost. As we see Dylan Vince close in the back of Hurricane. Hurricane looks like he's struggling at this stage of the Grand Prix. Just struggling to stay with the DRS range of the guys ahead as well. So if that happens, the guys ahead will pull away. We've got the McLaren going side by side with Mario on the hardcore power tyres. But looks like the McLaren just gets squeezed out there by the Williams, and unfortunately for him, has to stay behind for the time being. I was talking about Bruce as well because he made up a lot of places at the start of this race, and he's up into P9 inside the top 10, so great progress there from the McLaren driver. But we've got a few splits in the train already. Samid with his trouble internet connection issues once again, and it's a shame because I'm not quite sure how much you heard me, but every single race in this league or other leagues, it seems like it's the same story every single time. Samid has got relentless speed, good pace, but unfortunately his internet just keeps letting him down all the time. And it must be so frustrating as a driver to do so well in a race and just be thwarted by instant progress, and he will lose a lot of time towards the guys in front, whilst the guys behind as well also catch up. As you can see there, we've got the Williams, McLaren and the Racing Bull all in contention of taking a piece of it away from Samad, so he needs to get himself back in session as quickly as he can. But back towards the front, it is Mo Nemo leading this race ahead of Lotchip Jr. Fireblaze to P3. I talked about him trying to overtake him in the first couple of laps, but maybe now just stuck in this DRS train, and we'll see how difficult or easy it is to follow in this DRS train. But Sammy's joined and left again, so it's a massive headache there for the Scotsman indeed. As we climb towards Eau Rouge and Radion we go, and let's see if there's any overtaking opportunities available for these drivers here. It won't be easy to overtake, but here we go with the DRS wide open. I think Velocio Jr. is going to play the long game and stay behind Mo and Nemo and try and keep Fireblaze behind, because that's a good tactic as we see Fireblaze just sliding through there in towards Lacombe we go. Very difficult part of the try to follow, of course, in the high-speed turbulent air, and the aerodynamics affected as well. The engines running high as well. The temperatures could skyrocket very much as well in this race. Samid, I think he left again. He did leave, unfortunately. He's been demoted down into P10, and so it's a bad start to the season already for Samid, who just unfortunately his instinct keeps letting him down. Are you back, Daniel? It's all good, mate. It's all good. But here we are through 130 up. Blodgman once again then, 130 course back in Japan. But you can see the Mercedes driver all over the back of Momo Nemo, puts him under all sorts of pressure as we exit the final corner. Once again, DRS wide open, and in the background, last Vince just sliding through the corner. Burmeister has been pretty much detached from this fight now. He's all alone in P6, and unfortunately for him, he will not be able to catch up with the guys ahead because they've got some good raw speed. The top five have, and him without DRS means that these guys keep on away from him, and therefore Burmeister being no man's land and just all alone in P6. But the DRS is wide open once again. Let's see if Lotchip Jr. can make a move on Mo and Nemo. He's going side by side with him in towards the con we go, but Lotchip Jr. unfortunately just has to stay behind for the time being. So Velocio Jr. could not be able to make the move going down in towards Lacombe. They tried around the outside, but Mo and Nemo just gave a little bit of a squeeze. And Hurricane, they're struggling with long-term pace there in P4. Just almost detached from this battle is the former two-time champion of SFR. But Dylan Vince is doing a solid job keeping tabs on Hurricane and keeping him under all sorts of pressure as well. Dylan Vince, a former Division 2 driver, seems like he's got some decent pace in the Mercedes. and keeping Hurricane honest there in P4. I remember Hurricane as well. We also had some great battles in the past in Belgium with Hazara as well. I remember Hazara winning the Grand Prix a couple of times here in Belgium, going from last to first, but Kevin's retired. Kevin is out of the race, and a safety car has been deployed for the first time in this race. It took 5 laps for the safety car to be activated for the first time this season, and Kevin unfortunately is out of this race. And what could this mean? Well, I think an early pit stop could be required. I think these guys are going to dive in towards the pit lane and go towards the end of the hardcore power tyres. Yes, they are. I thought it's early to pit, but unfortunately these drivers are now forced into that situation. And Mario could stay out there the hardcore power tyres, I think. Let's see if he does or not. Maybe he might try to take the lead of the race in P5. He does decide to stay out there and continue on the tyres he started on, which is the hardcore power tyres. So every single driver that dived into the pit lane to put on a new set of hardcore power tyres, and presumably they should theoretically make it towards the end, but it might be a little bit of a struggle. So let's see if some drivers might drop off towards the end of this race on their old hardcore power tyres. 16, 17 laps on these hards is doable, of course, but we'll see how badly these tyres deteriorate, depending if other people can make them last longer than others, of course, depending how good your time management is. We know Fireblaze is really good at time management, but we'll see if that's the case for him or not. Remember, Nemo has gone for a new set of medium power tyres. That's medium, potentially hard for him. It is. It's a 2-stop strategy. Yeah, it's all good. Hopefully, you can sort it out next week or whenever you can. But yeah, nice to speak to you again. See you later. So, unfortunately, Energy Dan cannot sort his issues out, so it's me commentating alone. And we'll see how this rest of the race transpires. And now we're forced into the second stint of the race of the hardcore power tyres. These drivers are going to have to do some time management as well in this race. Samit has been given a second chance in terms of getting himself back in this race as well, because he was so far behind. And let's see the progress he can make. What's the McLaren doing? That's Bruce who goes off the track and lets Chris through. So he's lost the place towards the Aston Martin driver by going off the track. I think you guys can tell that my voice is definitely going as well, because like I keep saying, I am ill. I want to keep reiterating that point, because my performance will be as good as it usually is. But hopefully I can get better soon and get back to my original state. So interestingly then, Mo Nemo has felt the need to go on the medium power tyres, which means that a 2-stop will definitely be necessary, because he can't take it towards the end, and plus he's got to do that second stop on a different set of tyres, because that's more than one tyre rule is pretty much necessary as well. Marinho is pitted, and that is very strange indeed. So that tells me he didn't mean to go in the medium power tyres. There's no way. I think it's a human error, this, from Nemo. And his teammates pitted too. They've both done the same thing, Nemo and Bruce. Very strange indeed how both McLarens have done the same thing. Now Nemo is rejoined in last place, and Bruce as well. They will rejoin at the back of the field. Unfortunately, those two will. But we'll see if Nemo can claw back the places he lost and try and get back towards the front of the field. Dylan Vince, however, lost the place towards Burmeister to the pit lane, but that's because of the double stack that both Mercedes had to do, because they were so close together on the track. Burmeister was able to jump his rival and go up into P5. So Dylan Vince has lost the place, but can he make it back immediately? I think he needs to, because Burmeister wasn't displaying the pace that the guys at the front were in the first stint. So I think it's very important for Dylan Vince to overtake Burmeister and keep it in that fight towards the top 4. But the scenario is now that Mario All Blacks leads this race in the Williams on the old hardcore power tyres, of course. I think it's too early to pit for him to go on the mediums, unfortunately for him. So he has to stay out there, because if he does go to 70 power tyres, they will fade away quite dramatically and quickly as well. So He's kind of forced to stay out there. And what's happened to that Mercedes in P2? Velocio Jr., they're just going on the gravel. And unfortunately, well, he didn't lose a place, but that could have been very detrimental for him indeed for his race. Safety car is in at the end of the lap then, so racing resumes, and hopefully we'll see a good finish towards the end, because all these drivers might have to be forced into a situation where they have to save some tyres during the course of the Grand Prix, because that's a long stretch to go towards the end on the hardcore power tyres. They should be able to do it, but the tyres might struggle towards the end of the race, so we'll see if the drivers can manage it. But we're weaving left to right, trying to get a little bit of extra temperature in those tyres. We know that the medium and hardcore power tyres take a while to warm up and not in the optimum window to work, so a lot of drivers might be struggling here in terms of the temperature. But the safety car is in at the end of the pit lane, and Williams can pull the trigger whenever he wants, and he does right now. Away we go there for the safety car restart. He pulled away quite early as well before the final two corners, but he could be under massive pressure with the guys behind on newer tyres. And let's see how quickly he can be, or how easy it can be for him to defend against the guys behind. Not be easy at all with the difference of tyres, but as we go down towards turn one, he does lead this race ahead of Velocio Jr. and Five Lanes and Harry Kane. But will that be short-lived with the guys behind on newer tyres? As we climb up towards the end of Overreach and Radion, you can see that Mercedes is right in the slipstream of the Williams, and let's see if you can make this overtake happen. We go side by side now between the Williams and the Mercedes. Here comes Fireblaze 2, and here goes Velocio Jr. for the lead of the Grand Prix. Let's see if Fireblaze can make his way through. He can't, maybe, yes he can, around the outside, side by side between him and the Williams, and he makes his way up into P2. That was very critical for Fireblaze to get past him immediately, otherwise he gets stuck behind and therefore lose that DRS connection towards Velocio Jr. The Williams essentially will be calling the obstacle in the way for the guys behind on newer tyres, because he'll hold up the progress, and he dips the win in the gravel. Here comes Harry Kane then, taking full advantage. He goes up into P3, and Williams, unfortunately, struggling now, goes off the track. So that strategy for him has not worked in his favours whatsoever. He's able to keep up the pace with the guys ahead, and the guys behind taking full advantage of his struggles as well as we go through. Look at the understeer as well, they encountered through there. Maybe the tyres are not really up to temperature just yet, as Dan has left the session and left the party, so unfortunately we'll not be able to have him or his insights in the party. But here comes the Ferrari now on the back of the Williams, goes left, right, on the grass there, and makes contact with him, and he goes off the track as well. Optimistic move, but unfortunately did pay off for him. And here comes the Mercedes 2. As look at this, three abreast as we head down towards the Boston chicane. The Williams in the middle there as we go three abreast there as well. Dylan Vince gets ahead, but there's going to be a crash between those two, and these guys are getting so frustrated. In the wall as well. Yeah, it got very messy down there, unfortunately, just so messy. And I don't know what to say about that one indeed, but unfortunately, just some people got hot-headed, of course. So it's down towards the top three to decide who will win this Grand Prix now, as they're back together. Harry Kane, and here comes Fireblaze side by side as we head down in towards the cone. We go, there's contact, and Velocio Jr. just stays ahead of the Red Bull for the time being then, but that was very, very intense indeed between those two. Remember, these two do have a little bit of a history from last season too of making contact, but it looks like the rivalry continues in towards the season. Velocio Jr. doing everything he can to keep the Red Bull driver at bay, and at arm's length too. Fireblaze, we all know that he's very quick and desperate to get that championship, as he's been doing for the past 2 seasons. He's been a runner-up, but this time he wants to leave no stones unturned and wants to take every single race with full points as well. He knows he's got the pace to do so. He lacked a bit last season, but Harry Kane goes off the track there too, desperately trying to keep up with the top two there as well, making sure he stays within their DRS range. Harry Kane has struggled in this race to keep up with the guys in front, but Dylan Vince, could he be a threat? He's only 2.1 seconds behind. Yes, he got disadvantaged by the guys ahead squabbling, and he had to go off the track to take evasive action from the contact that happened to himself, Burmeister and Mario as well in P13. But here we go down towards the Buster chicane now. Dylan Vince is trying to catch up. Samid is on the back of his tail too. We've got Chris, who's on the back of Gaz KK, who's in the Kick Sauber. But it looks like the Aston Martin is about to pounce him anytime soon. Maybe now as we head down towards turn one, but stays behind. Just being very patient and waiting for the DRS on the long straight, because there's no point overtaking him as Burmeister has sped in the pit lane and he's retired from this race. What a shame, he retired here last season too. The curse continues for Burmeister. But here comes the Red Bull driver, second time. Let's see if this is successful or not. And this time does decide not to go for the move. Harry Kane has lost the DRS, and we've got some more battles going on here too. We've got the McLaren versus the Aston Martin. That is Moe Nemo going through. He's up into P6 ahead of the Aston Martin. Bruce gets a 3-second penalty in the McLaren as well. Apologies about that one. I tapped the screen by accident, but Samid has overtaken Dylan Vince, and now he's up into P4. So great comeback drive from the Haas driver, who has been struggling very much with his internet, and he's almost within DRS range of the top 3. Can he keep it going? Got some tremendous pace in the Haas. He is very quick, but unfortunately his internet isn't very quick. What's happened to Dylan Vince? Well, Dylan Vince has lost time towards Samid, which is quite strange because he had some good pace earlier on initially in the first stint, but seems to be dropping backwards now and left behind in the dust as it was. Whilst Samid ahead is progressing towards the top 3, and we could see a four-way battle between first, second, third and fourth, and that should be a great battle indeed. But Dylan Vince used the battery to try and get himself closer towards Samid in P4. 12 laps left to go in this race, and it's pretty much down between these 3 drivers with Fireblaze, Hurricane and Veloci Jr. Samid now under massive pressure for Dylan Vince. Did he leave again? Oh my goodness, he's left again, unfortunately. What a shame. He needs... I don't know why Samid bothers racing, because he always leaves the session. It hasn't told me he's left the session, but I presume he has, judging by the way he's a ghost. So, Dylan Vince will go through. Up into P4 he goes now. Let's see what Fireblaze does against Velocio Jr. I think Fireblaze is potentially in the best position in P2. Just try to set up Velocio Jr. in first place. He's got him right there in his sights. I don't think there's no need for Fireblaze to overtake him immediately. I think he should stay behind the Mercedes driver so he can have the DRS on the last few laps, save a battery and attack him later on in this race, because there's no point really attacking him now, because that means Velocio Jr. has the advantage then to overtake him later in the race. But what about Harry Kane? What can he do in P3? Can he get himself amongst the mix and in the battle? Somebody to rejoin the session once again. Do you know what? Very happy for him not giving up, because I definitely would have in the first 2 times. But Samit there just keeps on fighting, never gives up, which is a good thing for him. But it's just a massive shame that the internet just keeps letting him down all the time. I would love to see what Samit could do in these races without his internet blunders, because I think he's got a real chance of fighting for a championship this season as well, or having a few race wins. I think Samit won the Dutch GP last season, I think, or the season before. But the season before that was Brazilian Grand Prix, where he took a win. DRS enabled once again for the top, or second and third place behind Velocio Jr. as we head down in towards turn 1. There's 10 laps left to go in this race, and it's between Fireblaze, Velocio Jr. and Harry Kane. We got Velocio Jr., who hasn't had a win yet in season 18, I don't think. Yeah, Velocio Jr. hasn't had a win. But what's happened to Harry Kane? He's dropped backwards. He has dropped out of the DRS range. Apologies about that. I'm not really paying attention. But Harry Kane, where could he have done that? The exit of turn 1 in towards the com. Very strange mistake there. Very bizarre from Harry Kane. But it's cost him a lot of time then, as Fireblaze keeps on putting the pressure on Velocio Jr. in first place. This is an intense battle for first place between 2 amazing drivers. One of them has been a championship runner-up for last season, and the other one hasn't had a win yet in SFR Division 1. But he has had wins in Division 2. Came third place in the championship with 7 podiums to his name. Dear Velocio Jr. in first place. Now looking to go for his first win of the season and the first win in SFR Division 1. But he's got Fireblaze, the mighty Dutchman, in P2 behind him. And he was desperate to seize his try and kick things off in fine fashion and form. But Harry Kane gets himself with the DRS range again. Here he is, side by side. And does he take the lead? Yes, he does. Wow, that's very A very bizarre move to make. You don't really see many of those moves being made, especially there before the Buster chicane. The moves usually happen at the Buster chicane. But Fireblaze has got other intentions, and he goes through as well. Goes up into first place. Also sets the fast up the race as well, but makes a mistake out of turn one. Jensen spun there 2 seasons ago. But this time, Fireblaze will be under massive pressure from the Mercedes behind. And surely has the DRS now to retake the lead of the Grand Prix if he wants to. Here we go then. Fireblaze hasn't got a lot of battery at his disposal, whereas Velocio Jr. does. As Velocio Jr. goes back into first place, but Fireblaze desperately needs to save battery, as Mo Nemo now goes up into P4 ahead of Dylan Vince. Great comeback for Mo Nemo, but unfortunately just tripped over his own race, unfortunately, as he went to the wrong strategy. He did medium hard instead of doing medium hard, which was quite bizarre. Maybe he didn't change it in his pit stop, but I'm not quite sure why he wouldn't, because there's no way in a normal race, in any circumstance, you do medium in this race without a safety car. So quite a strange one there for Mo and Nemo. But Fireblaze, well, it looked like he was the attacker, and now he's struggling to stay in DRS range. So it looks like Mercedes Velocio Jr. has got some great pace to try and keep him at bay and pull away. As Hurricane is still lurking there in the background. Fireblaze once again struggling to save battery in the Red Bull. That was his biggest problem last season as well. His biggest flaw was saving battery, but he's progressing every single race and learning. But I think all he needs to do is stay within DRS range of Velocio Jr. There's no need to make any sort of silly moves like he did. I dare say the last lap was I think it was an unsmart move, it must be said there for Fireblaze, because of course Velocio Jr. was going to get it back, and he almost lost the DRS2 by using a lot of battery by doing that move. It cost him dearly as well. But luckily now he's still in DRS range of Velocio Jr. Can save the battery. There's about 8 laps left to go in this race still, and Hurricane is still there. If you can see, the battery is super low, so he really needs to focus on saving that battery there in P2 if he wants any chance of attacking him later on in the race. And Dylan Vince and Mo Nemo having their own scrap there for P4, P5 in the McLaren and in the Mercedes. And those two pretty much been left alone in the dusk. But Samid is catching. Samid's rejoined back the session in P6. You know what? I'm surprised he's not in last place with all the internet connection issues he's had so far in this race. But it pretty much now Dylan Vince between Mo and Nemo. It's a shame what happens to Mo and Nemo, because he could have been a real contender for the win. He's got some great pace in the McLaren, but unfortunately chose the wrong strategy, like he did back in Miami. If you remember if you remember last season, he had a chance to win the Miami Grand Prix, but he did the wrong strategy, and it cost him dearly as well. It cost him a huge amount of places and lost him the race win, gave the win to Fireblaze. But look at the top three, all in close contention, all in pursuit of each other, and we'll see what happens then as they're all bunched up behind each other too. As we head down towards the Buster chicane we go. Once again, Fireblaze makes the same move, side by side with the Mercedes there as well. And it seems Fireblaze go through, but here comes Hurricane as well, side by side with the Mercedes. Can he take away P2? We're about to find out now as these two go wheel to wheel in towards turn one we go. But Velocio Jr. is late to the brakes. He almost wipes out Fireblaze. But Hurricane, can he do the under and over? Can he do the switchback? Not yet, because Velocio Jr. managed to maintain P2 after almost losing 2 places in the final corner. Surely Fireblaze is under massive pressure now as the Mercedes and the Alpine all over the gearbox of his Racing Bull, or Red Bull, sorry, as Velocio Jr. pulls out to the left-hand side. He takes the lead. What about Hurricane, though? Hurricane stays in P3 for the time being. I think Fireblaze needs to start making that move going down in towards the bus stop chicane, because that's twice that move has failed. That's twice that he's been overtaken twice. Yeah, he's been overtaken at the same time in the same place. So I'm not quite sure why he keeps going for that move indeed. I am struggling to speak by the way, because my voice is going. Not because of this race, it's because of in general. But Fireblaze goes off the track in P1, so that might pick up a warning for him. And one or two more infringements means that a penalty will be coming his way very shortly. You've got to make sure he keeps clear of the track limits indeed. Don't overstep it. But I think he keeps on taking unnecessary risks and move, in my opinion. Not quite sure why he keeps going for the move down before the Buster chicane. Maybe using the battery and just out dragging him towards the final corner. But as you can see, that's where Velocity Jr. decides. I think he harvests energy to do that particular part of the track before we head down towards the Buster chicane. So I think A-Up is harvesting energy, and that's why Fireblaze is able to get closer, because not using any sort of battery down towards Puon, Blodgebod towards the Buster chicane. There is 6 laps left to go in this race. I'm not quite sure who is going to be the winner just yet. It's quite hard to tell. It's all about who plays it safe, who is the smartest out of these 3. But Hurricane in P3, unfortunately stuck behind these 2. Just can't seem to try and make any sort of headway and try to get himself into second place or first. Just taking a short break for my voice to recover and relax a little bit, but there is 6 laps left to go in this race, and pretty much the story's been about these 3 constantly changing positions and swapping over. But Velocio Jr. maintains the lead still in this race, as we see that Mario in P11 unfortunately has left the session, so we're down towards 11 people unless Sammy leaves again. Moe Nemo is dropping Dylan Vince, but Sammy is on the back of the Mercedes driver's DRS there. You can see Moe Nemo in the distance as well, in the background of these guys, but too far away to make any sort of impression to try and get himself involved in this battle for P1. There's a tense battle between these 3. Of course, we've got the champion in P3, we've got the runner-up in P2, we've got the not yet race winner yet of SFR. So pretty much in these 3 have a lot to prove as well. Hurricane, the former champion of SFR, Fireblaze, the runner-up twice in season 17 and 18, and Velocio Jr. hasn't won a race yet this season, or this in Division 1, sorry, in this division. But Fireblaze, once again, is making a move down the inside his contacts as we head down towards the com. This is very, very intense indeed. So robust between these 2. Barely any space given, but I'm not quite sure why these guys are fighting so hard. At this stage, you don't want to be ruining your race by losing your wing. I'm not sure why Fireblaze is not taking the route of staying behind. It's very entertaining, of course, but when it comes to championships, when it comes to seasons like this, you need to make sure you take as much as you can in every single race, as many points as you can. You don't want to throw it all away. And Fireblaze knows this. He knows that every single point matters, because he's been in the championship fight a couple of times in league racing, in fact loads of times in league racing, and he knows that every single point loss is a massive disadvantage for the next races. You really can't afford to be throwing a race away like this, especially when the victory's right there in your hands. Just play it smart. But yeah, there's a lot of contact that's being made in this race so far. Elbows out between these guys. Moe and Nemo could catch up. This depends if these 3 continue to squabble amongst themselves and make contact even more. But it's pretty much been relentless this race, with these guys pushing each other to the absolute limit and edge. It's been a pretty much intense first race of the season here in Belgium. And the fight continues on for the remainder of this race. But Hurricane is certainly not able to make any sort of impression on these 2. He's just stuck there in P3. He's like a passenger in P3, not be able to make any sort of move. But here we go then, once again between Fireblaze and Velocio Jr. side by side between these 2. It's super close to wheel, and it's going to be fine margins between these 2. And Fireblaze, does he finally get ahead? Yes, he does. Sweeps around the outside and takes away first place. Every single time these 2 go side by side, they're always risking something, always risking contact. But luckily they make it unscathed and pointing in the right direction. But Fireblaze this time manages to get himself into first place. And let's see now if Veloci Jr. can respond to his attacks. Looks like Fireblaze is trying to pull away, leaving Veloci Jr. behind in P2, but as long as Veloci Jr. has the DRS, he should be okay to keep himself within that battle of Fireblaze. But Fireblaze seems to be pulling away, and the gap is about 8/10 of a second there as well. So great pace for Fireblaze. If he can get himself out of DRS range now, that means he won't be under threat towards the end of the race. But unfortunately for him, Veloci Jr. is still there within his DRS range, so he's not able to break away for the time being. That's how we exit the final two corners. Lap 19 out of 22. And look at that. Massive wheel spin there from Mercedes. You can see it as he went down, as he went out of the final corner. He just struggling to pick up the throttle there. And looks like the rear end is starting to go a little bit as well. Maybe the hardcore power tyres are starting to fade away for the Mercedes driver. He's 8/10 behind. But with the DRS wide open on the Camel Straight, he can claw some of that advantage back towards Fireblaze and keep himself within DRS range. But Fireblaze, Hurricane is right behind too in P2, ready to take advantage of the Mercedes, but they're able to do so this time. Mo and Nemo just there in P4, just slowly creeping in on this battle, not able to try and gain any more time on the guards ahead either. Veloci Jr. would dearly love to get his first win of the season as well, especially in Division 1. His first win in Division 1. He's not able to achieve that last season due to the mistakes he's had. But Hurricane is all over the back of him. And Fireblaze is slowly pulling away from the Mercedes driver. So it could be a little bit of a threat there for Veloci Jr. as we head down towards the bottom chicane. Lap 20 out of 22. There's 3 laps left to go in this race. And Hurricane is right behind as well of the RP drivers. We head down towards the first corner, in towards the source we go. It's all about getting a very good exit out of here because it leads up towards the Camel Straight. Could this be where Hurricane strikes and make a move on the Mercedes? Let's have a look. He's about 3/10 behind. But of course, the Mercedes in front of us does have the DRS to protect himself and negate the attack from Hurricane. Hurricane can't get closer. He's stuck there in P3 and not able to make a move down the inside in towards the calm either. It must be so frustrating for Hurricane, seeing that he's stuck there in P3, can't do anything about it, and just has to follow every single time. But Fireblaze is doing a really good job maintaining the lead of this race. I think the gap is about 5, 6, 7 tenths between himself and Veloci Jr. But the problem for Fireblaze is that he needs a blistering lap 21 towards 22 because he needs to give the gap about 7 or 8 tenths to stop Veloci Jr. overtaking him in towards the final lap. Because Veloci Jr. is still keeping tabs on Fireblaze for first place. And Chris, however, has caught up towards Dylan Vince, so great pace there for Chris in 7th place. Dylan Vince with a mighty pace in the first stint, but seems to be dropping away in that Mercedes, and Chris there might take a full advantage of the Mercedes in P6. Let's see how that battle goes down between those two. Of course, Chris on his debut here in SFR Division 1 against Dylan Vince, a former Div 1 reserve and Div 2 driver. Picked up multiple wins last season in Division 2, did Dylan Vince. He's followed by the Aston Martin, so he has to deal with the Aston Martin for the time being. But the Aston Martin of Chris does have a 3-second tablet as well to add to his race later on. Right, back towards the top 3 then. Let's see what happens between Fireblaze and Veloci Jr. It's the penultimate lap of this race. This could be the decider of the race to determine what will happen towards the end. Is Veloci Jr. going to make a move on Fireblaze on this Camel Straight right now? He's in DRS range. He's got a slipstream. He hasn't got the battery. For the time being, he has to stay behind. Hurricane once again drops on the DRS range And that's been pretty much the tail story of this race. Hurricane keeps dropping out DRS every single time. Has got the pace to contend with these guys, and all of a sudden he closes back in just like now. Not quite sure where in this race he's struggling, but this is very important for the top two in terms of attack and defense. It's all about saving battery in this part of the track, ready to blast it all out towards Camel Straight. Velocio Jr. needs to save as much battery as he can if he wants a chance of winning his first win here in SFR Division 1, whilst Fireblaze wants to start his campaign to the best they could possibly can. He finished second place here in Fireblaze last season, but wants to go one better. His teammate of Jensen won the Grand Prix, but you can see those tyres are starting to get older and older there for Velocio Jr. Look at Fireblaze's ERS management, 65%. That's a mega job there for Fireblaze. That'll be useful towards the end of the Camel Straight. But as we head down towards the final call, look at Hurricane again, back in DRS range when he lost it previously. So I'm not quite sure how Hurricane keeps doing this, but Fireblaze is under major threat because Velocio Jr. is right behind him as we head down in towards turn 1. This is very important to get a good exit now. It's the final lap of the Grand Prix. This is where we'll see the overtaking happen out of turn 1 all the way towards Eau Rouge and Radion and the Camel Straight towards Rivage we go. As we climb towards Eau Rouge and Radion, DRS will be enabled. Can Velocio Jr. get past him as we head on towards the main straight? DRS enabled, the battery's being used. Can he get past him as we head down in towards the con we go? Can he go around the outside? He's laying the brakes. Yes, he can. He goes around the outside, but Fireblaze is still there, back around the outside. And Velocio Jr. takes the lead of the race with a mighty move as Fireblaze loses it. He lost it. And Hurricane goes up into P2. Wow, what a move there for Velocio Jr. Forced it to go around the outside, and it paid off. A mega move. For 1 second, I thought Fireblaze would go back around the outside of Velocio Jr., but he didn't. He got on the gravel and lost the car, and he managed to keep the lead, did Velocio Jr. What an absolute stunning race there from the Mercedes driver, proving that he's a threat this season, trying to put his wrongs in the past to right. All the mistakes he did cost him victory. All the stupid mistakes that Velocio Jr. did last season cost him dearly and a lot of points for Ferrari. But what a change around, what a turnaround towards the start of the season 2 when he desperately needed to prove himself, and Mercedes as well, to prove that he's a very strong driver and can be a threat. But look at Hurricane. Hurricane's coming. Look at this. Will he go down the inside? Yes, he is. Down the inside towards the final corner we go, but can't make the move. As Velocio Jr. managed to defend the threats for Hurricane as he comes towards the line now. It is Velocio Jr. who wins the Belgian Grand Prix for the first time this season. Hurricane finishes in P2 and Fireblaze will finish in P3. With the rest of the field approaching the finish line. What a spectacular, intense first race that was for a season opener in Belgium. Doesn't disappoint at all. And it is the Mercedes man who takes the victory, and Fireblaze will be definitely disappointed with that one. Great comeback drive from Samit and Morinimo P4, P5 despite their problems earlier in the race. But that pretty much is the Belgian Grand Prix done and dusted then. It looks like we're seeing a difference Velocio Jr. this season, which we want to see as well, because all that potential wasted last season with all those mistakes he did and the wrong strategies and always get beat. This time it changed it. It took him. Funny thing is though, he had 0 wins last season in Division 1. This season picked up 1, and that's crazy as well. It took him a lot of effort last season to get his first win, but he couldn't do it at all. But it took him 1 race this season to get his first win, and finally it has come. Well deserved, mega drive, and put on an absolute performance and show for everybody as well. And he should be impressed as well. Great braking skills to go around the outside in towards the calm and keep it on the track as well. Not lose his composure, and kept it kept within white lies as well. And as you can tell, I'm struggling to speak, so I'll end the stream. I'm not going to do podium interviews because I don't want to. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not 100% good. So I'll see you all later for the next race of the season. And thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Apologies about my voice, but I'm ill. So I'll see you all later. Goodbye for now, and take care.